Good morning. I'd like to share my testimony with you all. First of all, I got to thinking Friday night, if my parents knew some of the things I'd done when they went to their graves, they never told me or I never knew about it. But anyway, I consider myself now to be a man of high character with high moral standards. And it's my intention to follow Jesus and to emulate his characteristics as much as I can, but it wasn't always that way. I grew up in the Catholic Church, and my dad made sure we went to church every Sunday. And he was very strong, had a very strong faith, and tried to instill that in me. As I grew up, I always believed in God, and I believed in Jesus and the relationship with Jesus, but I never, when I was young, never acted on it. And as I got older and got into high school, I basically went to church because Dad wanted me to, and not because I wanted to at that time. So after I got out of high school, I stopped going to church, and I drifted quite a ways away from God. I had started, even in my senior year, I had started drinking rather heavily. And I was even, a couple years later, even got into drugs. And it was not unusual for me to get behind the wheel in that state, which I could have hurt myself or someone else. And it's amazing that all the times I got behind the wheel in that condition, that I never got pulled over by the police. So I think in a lot of ways, even at that time, God was watching over me and he had other plans for me. It got so bad at one point that the apartment I lived in, I actually had to look out one morning and see if my car was there, because I did not remember driving home. And it got to the point where I actually contemplated suicide. I was so lost at that time. And it wasn't until I was in my 30s that I met the lady that is now my wife, and started going to church again, and things started to change. We fell in love, and fortunately, she agreed to marry me. And we went through, as we were going through pre-marriage counseling, I gave my life to Christ. And then in 2000, that was in 2003. In 2004, I made the decision to be baptized here in front of my church family as an affirmation of my decision. And Ephesians 4:8-10 says, "For it is by grace you have been saved, through faith, and this is not from yourselves. It is the gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast. For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." This shows me that even in the darkest time of my life, God saw me through it because he had things he wanted me to do. Now it's up to me to be obedient to him and listen to him. I am still broken and I still fall at times, but I am redeemed by the blood of Christ, and his resurrection is my hope. So that's my testimony. Rather painful, but I just wanted to share it with you this morning.